good night, everyone, and welcome to the conversation. I am your co-host, Alistair Sampson, and of course, we have your other co-host here, Christopher Crossley, aka Mr. Crossley, so aka Gentleman Extraordinaire. How you doing tonight, man?
Man, I am good. I am good. And it's great to be here for another night on the conversation. We're doing our best to try to keep this weekly and keep our audience informed, especially during this COVID time when the things that they want to do to develop their life and their lifestyles and their whole personal development in general. So, it's good to be here, man.
Good to see you, man. Well, I know you love to do your COVID check-in, so we can't step away from that. So feel free to take it from here,
Yeah,
man.
I mean, coming from last week to this week, it has been a eventful week for me in terms of business, new things coming up, and as always, right now I'm steady on my one book a week. So I need to pick my new book for this week tonight, so I can get on
Mm.
that. So it has been interesting. It's my challenge to myself to actually read more. I think as always, we live and lead by example. So that has just been my personal challenge to myself. So we always talk to people about, reading and doing these things, but are we actually doing it as well? Because there is a lot of struggle with it. But I think it goes, hand in hand with learning more about yourself, going through this period with the COVID and the pandemic, within our country and globally, you know, disconnecting where we don't stay too plugged into negative things and keep in mind that we still have to keep working on ourselves regardless. So that has basically been my week and is my week every week to just continue doubling down and working on me. So it has been a good week. I can't say it has been bad. And this week has started off on a good note. It's Monday. It's I mean Tuesday, folks. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, lost your
But
day, man.
yeah, I lost a day right there. But we just going with it.
Yeah. I know it has been, man. Even I
Yeah.
myself today, I mean, you're looking at the events yesterday at work and all of these things like that, and trying
Correct.
to stay the course and everything. And yes, you'll hear people talking and worrying about the COVID figures and all of these things like that, and then again about this new strand, this
Variance.
Brazilian strand, this variant that they're talking about
Yep.
here, and what is going to happen and everything like that. But I believe that once people have stayed consistent with respect to social distancing, sanitizing, and everything like that, it's just to remain consistent. The people who would be worried are the ones who have not been keeping consistent and start off hot and sweaty and then go on the decline with respect to that. And
Correct.
it's a good thing that we are talking about these two items here, talking about when persons start on something hot and sweaty and then go on a decline, and also about what you were speaking about earlier with respect to committing to a book a week. All right. Now, committing to a book a week is not a walk in the park or simple if it is that you don't have the discipline or you
Correct.
don't set certain things in place to give yourself the opportunity to go at the book a week in terms of the reading. And that really steps into the conversation that we're going to have today in terms of
Making
making
focus a habit. Correct.
focus a
That's
habit.
perfect line up there.
Yeah, and it's so important in terms of that. I mean, we have spoken about having focus and maintaining a particular focus in what you do, and we talk about taming distractions, and we talk about
Correct.
all items here. But a lot of times, people just go on just the three topics that we spoke about, and they don't put things in place to make sure that it's sustained. You're gonna find yourself just going back to the original default state of where you were going from before, meaning that let's take for example going to the gym.
Right.
Persons will have started off hot and sweaty the first of the month or the first Monday of the month, and they may have gone the first week really well, and then by the second week they start to slip up. Third week we don't see them again. Fourth week they don't see them again, and then they try a recommitment to do the same thing over again. But it have consequences to not keeping your focus. If there's no focus, there's no results.
Well, it does come down to that last word, making focus a habit. And we know to actually create a habit. No, it doesn't happen overnight, of course. Like
Correct.
the example of the gym, I really wish I had that sustainability with going to the gym. I love the gym. I miss the gym. I would say that now. I miss that pump.
Mhm.
But then I have friends that and they are literally gym rats. Like I wonder if they have a secret little bed or area in the gym that they just sleep because it seems that they're always constantly there, but it is part of their lifestyle now because of the
Mhm.
habit that they built, because of being focused on the goals that they have and wanted to achieve with creating those habits, which is something we'll have to actually touch on when we talk about making your focus a habit. So that is a great example, but it's definitely not something that people could just decide, well, I'm picking this up today and think that a week later they will have that same energy. It doesn't work like that. It's something that you really do have to work at.
Yeah, you're correct. I think a lot of times there are a number of challenges that causes us not to take things as habit. One of the biggest ones is that we try to do too much in one shot. We try to do too much in that single time there, and that could actually be to our detriment. So, like a person, let's say for example, let's go the whole thing about physical training. A
Mm-hmm.
person who wants to go to the gym, they decide, okay, I'm going to cut out all meat and everything. I'm going full vegan the same day that I'm going to start in the gym. And at the same time, they're going to start running 2 miles on the morning and just drink pure protein during the day and be vegan and then do the workout in the evening and make sure that they get 8 hours sleep. And they want to start all of that in day one, that one single day. Unfortunately, and persons could speak about that, it's tough for people to actually try to change all of these huge, make all of these big transformations in one single day and believe that it's sustainable. I
Correct.
mean, I've gone through that personally where you try to make all of these changes and it starts off hot and sweaty and really good on the first 2 days. And then after that, there's a decline because we try to take on too much in one single shot. And that's a big consequence with respect to that. What are your thoughts on that,
Right.
Chris?
Well, right. So you're saying that, and the number one thing with that, or the point that we need to highlight with that, one of the tips, I'll put as tips to create that laser focus, to have it become a habit. You need to have a clear vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
To stay focused, you need to have an end goal in mind. You're not just shooting arrows into the dark and hoping to hit the target. You need to have an end goal in mind, right? And once you start with that, you get now to build a routine that will take you there, right? The first thing you should start with is getting that routine in place right after you realize or you put that end goal in place.
Mm-hmm.
Because we continue using the whole idea of going to the gym and whatnot. All right, so you'll probably look at meal planning as well as going to the gym. You'll look at the
Mm-hmm.
time associated with going to the gym, any other responsibilities. So you'll start to shift things around and put things in place in order to achieve whatever is your health goal or the goal that you have with going to the gym. Right? It's not just you saying, all right, I'm going to the gym because I want to look sexy. No, right? What I mean? It's not the same. That's you could go to the gym one day and wake up next morning and feel all right, I'm looking sexy now. It does. So what I mean? It's if the goal isn't something real in that sense, you'll always just be shooting in the dark.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And it's the same thing if you really apply it to your job and also when you're even if you're applying it to your business. A lot of times people may have these lofty goals in terms of when they start off and they want to make absolute profit in year one of their business. Or as soon as they go into a particular place to work, they expect that they'll get a promotion and shoot their way to manager within 1 year. and then get despondent because they didn't get a promotion in their first year or their second year. And
Yep.
you find out that they just expect it to just happen just like that. And it doesn't work that way. All right. Unless it's, some really fast working in the company itself. There are too many variables with respect to that. But that doesn't just happen by default. And unfortunately, you find people coming into the work environment or even coming into business, basically wet behind the ears, expecting these results to take place. And if they haven't developed, if it is that they don't have a focus with respect to that, and it's not a habit, and they just have these lofty expectation or unrealistic expectations, they're going to be sorely disappointed at the end of it, especially if it is that these goals are not truly set. All right. And it's
Well,
something that
remember the goals have to go along with the action plan at the end of the day.
correct.
You must have some idea of what you want to do, right? The tasks you want to take on and know how you'll actually break it down into doing them. Otherwise, because I mean, we all have goals, but what are the steps to achieve it?
Correct.
So that action plan does become part of the habits that you now have to do continuously to keep gnawing away at the goal that you have. Right. And if the goal right now is focus or creating that focus and making focus a habit, the things that we spoke about in the last two episodes of the conversation are the things people need to implement. We talked about minimizing. Sometimes you could, some cases you could eliminate distractions, yes.
Correct.
But we know we spoke on being able to minimize these distractions, right? The fewer distractions you have, the better you'll do, right? We don't, I wish we could just say banish all distractions. But you know what you need to do, you know how you're going to reach your goals, and it's
Right.
just a matter of clearing that space. You
Mhm.
won't be able to banish it, but at least you start by minimizing what is there. And actually, over time, during your routine, you may find that you actually eliminate and banish the distraction altogether. You may find that actually happens. But it's at first, I mean, everything is little steps. Just start minimizing. That is a major part when it comes to making your focus a habit.
And I gotta bring up that point as well too. Especially when they talk about having that action list. So it's good to have an action list. Prepare action list. What it is that you plan to do. What are your goals? These actions that you putting in play to direct you to a particular goal. What you need to also have as well is your current habit list. I don't think people really take
Ah,
much attention with respect to that, but you need to have a current habit list as well too. What is your daily routine? And be honest with your daily routine in terms of what it is that you do. Write it down, not what you want to do, but what it is that you do right now.
correct.
What time do you get up? When do you go on social media? What it is that you do during the day, and check your habits and really state what are your daily habits, and really scrutinize your daily habits line up with the actions that you are planning to take place to reach your goals.
I
See, a
wonder
lot of
people,
these action
go
lists,
ahead.
but we don't look at that.
A habit list. Yeah, actually, that's a very good challenge to anybody listening
Yeah.
tonight. I mean, be honest with yourself if you can. Let's see all who can actually be honest with themselves and do a habit list. I mean, do it for 3 days. I wouldn't say do it for a whole week. Do it for at least 3 days of the week. When you wake up, look at the things that you do. The time you get up, what you do when you get up, what you do during the course of the day, when you go on your break or take a break, what do you do? How often you may stop to check your phone, and then look at it like after, let's say after working hours, what do you do? And then look at that time between that time and when you go to sleep. So that'll be day one. So if anybody could actually be honest with themselves, you will
Mhm.
actually see there are so many gaps during the day that they could actually be doing stuff that they don't, and they actually fall to the distractions. Now, I'm not saying stay up till midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get stuff done. No, I'm talking about actually looking at what you do right now and create a habit list. I would challenge anybody watching this show tonight and see what are your habits for the week, a habit list. That's actually a very good tool. I didn't even think about that. I'm actually going to try it myself just for the fun of it and
Yeah,
see where are the gaps in your day that you could be filling.
yeah, and that's a good point. Eh? Create that habit list because people emphasize so much on their action list and do all sort of matrix behind that and
Correct.
all that stuff, but they don't really pay attention to the habit list because your habits drive your actions.
Correct.
So when you create that habit list and you go through what it is that you do and you see what you go through during the day, your next step, and it does not happen the same day or anything like that. That might take a couple of weeks because you're consciously looking at your habits and what it is that you're doing. In your scrutinizing of your habit list, what are one or two things that you really absolutely don't want inside of that habit list? It may have something like, for instance, spending 2 hours on social media. That might be on your habit list. What it is that you absolutely don't want in your habit list, what it is that you really want to get rid of. Choose one or two items. What some people do unconsciously, they will try to change their habit list in their head and don't have it written down and try
Mm-hmm.
to force fit it into these actions that they want to do, but it's not sustainable. And you find out that you just fall back into your old habits. And there's a reason why you fall back into your old habits as well, which is point number 3. When you take out a bad habit, you need to replace it with a new habit that you can actually achieve or you can actually do.
Correct.
Sometimes we put in stuff, you know you're going to slip up. You know you're not going to really stick with it because it is too hard or too high for you to attain. But
Correct.
replacing a bad habit and putting in a good habit in that particular slot, that is going to be important as well. What are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Well, what you're touching on there, when you said they know it's something that they will slip on, it comes down to, I think, the type of goal is being set and the
Mm-hmm.
task as well. So this is why we always speak about setting a SMART goal, right? SMART, which stands for being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have this goal, make sure you're actually specific. Don't okay, don't say you want to um, lose 100 pounds. Say, no, my goal is to lose 2 pounds a day by doing X, Y, and Z. So you know it's when you're that specific over just the large view of saying I want to lose 100 pounds, you can actually break that down. You can actually measure the stuff that you do. You know it's actually attainable. Because in your mind, you're not hearing 100 pounds, and in your mind, you're hearing 2 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually could see what I could actually push to lose 2 pounds a day and maintain that. It's a lot different. So when people set these things or put these things there on that list, it's because they're not creating proper SMART goals.
Correct. Yeah.
It has to be attainable, it has to be relevant, and it
Mm-hmm.
has to be time-based. So you know, okay, I'm losing 2 pounds a day or 2 pounds a week, something within a time frame. So you know you have to
All
push
right.
to do what you need to do within it to achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
So if it is people aren't setting proper SMART goals, it's going to be very easy to lose focus.
True. That is so true. And it just slipped me, but let me just reiterate that part that I spoke about with respect to the new habits. What you have to pay attention to in your habit list as well are what are your triggers that cause you to do that habit that you're doing.
Correct.
So let's just say going on social media. Your trigger could be your phone is always next to you when you get up in the morning.
Yep.
What can you do to replace that trigger so that you don't go for the phone first thing in the morning? it could be to put the phone on the other side of the room
Yeah.
and replace on the side of it there a glass of water. So the night before you put a glass of water, one of those bottled water there. So the first thing you do in the morning instead of going for your phone is to hydrate yourself.
I'll suggest for the bottle of water because it has a cap, you know, people might forget and just swing. And I wonder what you say. People are the fellas and mantles and you put a glass of
A
water
glass of water,
and I
a
break
mash
my
up
glass, I'll throw water down
and
on the clock radio. Yeah.
yeah,
For a bottle of water, for a bottle of water.
yeah, pour a bottle of water, have it cook up there, and let that be the first thing that you reach for instead of the phone. You
Correct.
know, create the right triggers to get you into the good habits. All right, and but to start off small. Okay, start off small. Some people want to change the whole world in a single day. Start off small, get a rhythm with it, and then start doing that with the other smaller habits as they go along. That will actually save you a lot of time as opposed to trying to start everything all at once. Because let's face it, I'm very sure right now who are listening right now that you have been in situations where you start off hot and sweaty or something, it drop along the wayside sometime, you pick it back up again and drop along the wayside. And the only logical explanation that will come up in your mind is saying, well, this thing not working for me anymore. Or this don't work. I can't do that. And really and truly, it's really simple, small habit changes to help you keep your laser focus on what it is that you need to. Small changes and let it grow to be, that's what habits are. Things that you do consistently along the way.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I always tell people, let's be realistic with certain things. The, they say it takes 21 days to build a habit.
mhm.
And sometimes actually it's not 21 days. For some people it's shorter, for
Yeah.
some people it's longer. All right. If it's longer, don't beat yourself up about it because life is happening. We understand that.
Correct.
We are not in the usual times right now. We also understand that with COVID and stuff, everything is literally not the same. All right. You'll be going through a whole different range of stuff now as compared to pre-COVID and stuff like that. So for those that, hey, building a new habit now, even during the pandemic and it's less than 21 days, great. I mean, we applaud that. And for those that find that they're struggling and they can't seem to narrow it down or nail it down to really get this thing going, that's still okay. It's going to take that time. It goes over 21 days, so be it. If it takes you 30 days or 60 days, that's fine. The thing is, during that time, you're still going to see progress, right? Even a small step is still progress. So we're not going to devalue or not give that its merit. You still have to give yourself that merit. Even taking these small steps is still progress. So it's okay if it doesn't take 21 days and you go over, especially now.
Yeah. I mean, the opportunity that we have now to make some positive changes for us to get the focus that we need to accomplish the goal that we need to accomplish, and at the same time, introduce some good habits that will help push us in that trajectory to achieve those goals. I think that is going to be really important. One of the items that we had discussed a couple of weeks ago, I know we talk about persons journaling and we spoke about persons, talking affirmations and a number of things that we spoke about. I wanted to speak a little bit on the area of meditation as well, because I think a lot of time people, when they hear meditation, as you rightfully say, they think it's somebody crossing the legs and floating in the air or some kind of thing like that. And really, it's about finding that space where there's absolute silence. And I mean, even your own voices in your own head to try to be silent about it. The reason why I wanted to bring that up is that you want to be able to increase that space, that mindset space of meditation because what happens is that for you to be able to keep your focus, you need to be able to expand that attention space that you have.
Right.
If it is that your mind always in squirrel mode,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have laser focus.
Yep.
Because every single distraction I come, you're gonna just focus on that and switch across, and I'm not going to accomplish what I need to accomplish. But that meditation that you're doing, that total silence and trying to expand that attention space is going to help you well when it's time for you to focus on something. You're able to shut out the noise that is around you and really focus on the task at hand.
Well,
That,
that meditation too is a form of concentration,
mhm,
right? It's not like deliberate, or you're trying to read and forcefully do it. It's more of a relaxed state. I think I remember listening to a monk come from where, and he was discussing the things that they do, and people were like, "Well, what do you all do all day? Do you all just pray and meditate and chant?" And he said, "No, they do different art, they do cooking, they do different things." He said, "But when they do it in a state of concentration because they are so focused, and the practice of meditating is there." He said when they're sweeping, they sweep with that same energy of fully concentrating on what they're doing. There's nothing else. When they're peeling potatoes, it's still in that kind of meditative state where they actually give that time to that. So they actually, focus that energy there. They could be doing arts and crafts, painting, and it's with the same energy, because with meditation comes that focus, that concentration on finding that center, finding the stillness,
mhm,
listening to your breathing and stuff like that. And that is actually what they put into everything else. So even with meditation, when you find that you're able to bring that sense of calm, bring that sense of direct focus and concentration, even in that relaxed state, you'll find that when you're doing stuff, it's easier to focus on typing a letter. It's easier and focus on, doing something, whatever task that is, and being able to naturally block out everything external to that, because
mhm.
you've learned to concentrate where your energy needs to be.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I mean, these tips that we're sharing here right now is not just for adults. I mean, you have that persons who listen right now who may know or have kids that are going to be doing SCA, who are going to be
correct,
doing work in form 4, form 5, as the case may be, prepping for exams, all of these things like that. And it's small habits like that to help them focus, to help your kids as well focus. So
correct.
this is again is not just for the adults in terms of business and entrepreneurship, but this is also for those who are in school, primary school, secondary school, even for persons who are going to university at this time. Um,
Correct.
a lot of distractions out there, and I think in university right now, I think I don't know if they're going total school from home
Online?
in the university. I think for some they have, because of the nature of it as a hybrid that they have now.
Yes,
So I
some
mean,
who
you
have
have all of
labs
these
and stuff,
factors.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. So you have all of these factors that you have to look at, and having that focus to be able to accomplish a goal, whether it's to get a diploma, your associate degree, a degree, a master's, a doctorate, whatever the case may be. It starts off with introducing the right habits in the mix, as well as consistent laser focus. And what I mean by consistent laser focus, I don't mean 24/7. But I mean, if it is that you're going to be laser focused for 2 hours, let it be for that 2 hours of that day. The next day, do the same thing. The next day, do the same thing. And
mhm,
you build that muscle memory, in a matter of speaking,
correct,
to be able to keep that focus going along the line. And that's really going to be important in terms of your development and your growth, in terms of your mindset.
correct. So, I mean, anybody that was listening to the last two episodes of the conversation, I mean, I don't think there's anything else that we could add. I think we've said it all when it comes to, your focus and minimizing distractions and making it a habit. They literally all intertwine.
Mhm.
Um, so hey, if you need a refresher, the two other episodes are there. You can get it here on the Facebook page, or you can actually go on our YouTube channel now, and you can see the last 2 episodes. So you can make the notes and really attack being able to put things into place where you create the habits now. Like I said, I know it's not going to be easy. It's not stuff that will happen overnight. Really start with making that habit list.
That's right.
And see what you can actually look at, what you need to stop doing, of course, right? Look at the things you need to start doing. And then, of course, the things that you do that working for you is the things that you need to continue doing. Are the things you need to continue doing. So as simple as that, let's literally start by creating a habit list. We know body goal making, we know body goal setting, we know body journaling, we know body meditation, we know about minimizing distractions, we know about goal that, we mentioned goal setting. Let's start with really doing this habit list and seeing what we need to implement.
Exactly. And I'm glad we just hitting that point there to really summarize what it is that we've been chatting about. It's not just about creating that action list, as right? We say the habit list and really just being consistent with it. So, I mean, I'm glad we brought that to the attention of people here. And for those who are listening, feel free to drop in your comments, and we'll be able to respond accordingly with respect to even your experiences. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop it in the comments as well. And just to emphasize again with respect to the YouTube channel that we have, this is especially for those who are not on Facebook Live, who want to be able to hear about the conversation as well. We have been doing this full series for the month of April with respect to laser focus and everything along that line. And this is just the final part of it. So it may have persons who you may know. Go ahead and share the video with them on the YouTube. If you go on our page right now on Facebook Live, we have the link right there at the top to be able to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can feel free to share with others who are not on the Facebook platform. They could go ahead, take a look at our videos, share it with them, go ahead and do that,
Correct.
So,
and as always, what we also say is any topic that you want us to discuss, feel free to share it or put the topic in the comment section or send us a message directly, and we will do our best to address the topic. If not among ourselves, then we'll see who we can bring on board on the show to discuss it with you. So feel free to send the topics in, and let's get this stuff done, because as always, we want to be able to bring the information that would help you the most, that you need. We want to meet you at your point of pain, as we always say. Let's get the information that you need to you.
Great. All right. Chris, thank you very much. I think we had a pretty good program tonight. And for persons who have been tuning on, I see all of those persons who have been chiming in and everything there. Thank you all very much for staying connected with us on the conversation. And as always, the numbers are going up in terms of COVID. Please continue to be safe. Please continue to be safe. All right.
We don't want a local India.
Okay. Please. Things getting tough across there. We don't want that happening here as well. We don't want that
happening here at all. Please.
All right. Let's make sure we maintain that discipline as much as we could. Stay the course with respect to that. Do not get complacent. All right. We don't want the death toll to be going up again. We don't want the infection rate to be going up as high as it's been going. We have to do our part in terms of it. All right. And I'm not political, but no government is going to help that. It's our discipline that is going to help that.
Correct.
All right. So let's just make sure we do what we do. Again, special shout out to our first responders, our nurses and doctors who are on the front line right now, facing this and sometimes overtime and all this kind of things going on here, and they have to be in the hospital right now facing all of these cases coming.
Right. And then going home to the families, right? So it's not easy for them.
It's definitely not easy for them.
Correct.
So guys, you all continue to stay safe. All right. And see you all next week. See you all. Take care. Have a good night.
Yeah.